AITA for not telling my ex I got pregnant. I, 28F, was with my ex-husband for about 6 years. During this time, we were trying for a baby but had no success. About 4 years into our marriage had a rough patch. My ex had stress at work and slept with his coworker to relieve it. He confessed to me rather quick, and a week later, they sat me down and told me they were expecting a child. I was an idiot back then, and so I felt like I should forgive him because I truly believed he loved me and I thought I had no one. It wasn't. My ex's family treated me like their own, but my ex's supposed daughter was the apple of their eye. As a result of that, my ex's coworker was frequent presence in our lives. They felt like they had to include the mom of their grandchild for everything too, and she made her way in every family picture and memory. It didn't help that I suspected that the coworker had feelings for my ex and flirted with him when she can. People thought that she was my ex's wife constantly, and I finally had enough when during the baby girl's first birthday party when I was told to take a picture of my ex, his mistress, his daughter, and his parents, and it didn't include me. It hit me that I was now treated as the other woman, and I realized that I deserved more than this bullshit. I filed for divorce a few months later and left. It was the hardest time of my life, but I ended up getting a promotion at work and met this sweet, wonderful guy. Fast forward to now, me and my boyfriend are madly in love, and I gave birth to an adorable baby girl that I considered a miracle baby. I got pregnant with my boyfriend like 3 months after dating him, and I thought that it was strange that this could happen since my previous failed attempts with ex and had thought that I was the infertile one. It crossed my mind then that maybe he was the infertile one and he only believed mistress was pregnant with his child because they were having an affair. I didn't say anything though because it was not my place anymore. However, my boyfriend was so happy about my daughter's birth and posted it on Facebook and tagged me in the post. I was still friends with my ex still on FB, and she saw the post. She called me up and said that she was hurt that I didn't let her know that I could actually get pregnant and the lack of child during my first marriage could be my ex's fault. He took a paternity test. The poor baby girl was never my ex's. The coworker apparently was dating this terrible guy during the time she slept with my ex and didn't know who the child's father was, so she just strung my ex along cause she had feelings for him and thought he'd be the best father for her child. Now my ex blames me for not telling him that I was pregnant way before and am having to father this girl. He's doing pretty bad now, and I can't help but feel guilty like I should have told him. Edit: I didn't realize that I could edit my post even after the 3,000 character limit. Okay, so first of all, I keep seeing that people have seen other posts like mine in some YouTube video. If so, I'm upset that others have had similar situations as me and that some people find the situation so hilarious that they make a video out of it. I've also never posted on Reddit before. I had a previous account for browsing, not posting. I don't think I have to prove my story, and I honestly posted this not to seek validation that my ex supposedly is the worst ever, but to gain perspective since my ex and his family were my family and close confidants for a large period of my life. We were pretty close and I had promised to keep in touch after the divorce, which they were super upset about, but I really couldn't after everything that happened between us. They're now super pissed at me for the divorce and for being complicit in my ex taking on the expenses of his not daughter and forming a paternal connection with her for longer than he should have. Edit: so here's what's been happening right now. I haven't spoken to them after this and have been avoiding my ex's calls. He texted me saying that he is sorry and overreacted and felt guilty about prioritizing people who were never really family over me. I only replied with asking how his daughter is because even though she isn't biologically his, she's still his girl. She seems like an adorable kiddo and adores her dad. Frown. My ex's mistress is able to support the girl financially, so my ex won't contribute to that, but he says that he's still going to see her every month because he feels morally obligated to. I feel bad for the girl so much because she seems to have lost her family unit, dad, grandparents, cousins. And before we go to OP's update, let's go to the comment section. Let's hear it from our folks. From Mesophilus, NTA, first of all, what the fuck, your ex cheats on you and blames you for him taking on fatherhood for a child that is not his? What I am not going to say it, because this comment will be removed. Sorry, no rough patch justifies cheating, he should have taken up counseling. He fucked her, he cheated, he should have considered the possibility that she is fucking other guys, too. The only one he can blame is the woman who forced that child onto him and himself. Don't feel bad, you don't need to be mad at your ex, but you sure as hell need to grow up and be mad at the audacity that he is trying to make you the bad one here. It's great you still get along with your ex's family, but my dude, he made his bed, Cheating with his co-worker, who was already in bed with another man, now he can lie in it and take care of alimony suits or whatever his plan is. I hope he can figure out something, because that child considers him her dad already, but hell, that woman stole years from him. Edit. Wow, thanks kind stranger, for the gold. I am a sporadic user on Reddit so I haven't quite figured out the awards yet, but I did not expect this to go through the roof like it did. I try to comment, like I would comment on a friend's problem they confide in me. Thanks again. And also want to make clear, yeah, the last sentence was a bit hard to understand. I do still think it was entirely X's fault and he got all he deserved and more. However, I also see another issue here. The fact of slipping another human being a fast one, in this case a baby, and playing on their good faith, suggesting it is their child. X was at least decent. Enough to take on responsibility for the child he thought was his. He played up and got played in turn. This is a fuckfest and the child is the only one losing here. Next one is from Coco's Knees, NTA. What kind of gaslighting manipulation this is? Of course you didn't need to tell your ex or his family that you were pregnant. Block him and his family if this is how they treat you, and think if you. Another on is from Alex 1982 AITA. Your ex cheated, you moved on. He has now abandoned the lady that drove a wedge in your relationship because she was sleeping with another when you were married to him. He is TA. His life choices are in no way your fault. Cut him out. Congratulations for moving on. Go and enjoy your new family. New man sounds like he is going to be a much better father. OP's reply, thank you for your kind words. He's the best less than 3. He's been in love with me for so long and right under my nose too, and I just can't believe that I couldn't notice him earlier. A note on the infertility, I always assumed that it was me who was infertile because I had incidents in college where I didn't use protection a couple of times, very irresponsible and highly not recommended, and nothing came out of it. At the time, I believed I was extremely lucky, but when trying to get pregnant, I thought of the incident as proof that I was the infertile one and had led my ex to believe as such. Him supposedly getting his coworker pregnant strengthened my belief. We were actually going to go to a fertility clinic before we got the news about his coworker, but that never ended up happening. Side note, thank you for all the kind words, smile. And lastly is from pterodactyl_noises, your NTA, but how could you possibly be the asshole for not telling your ex-husband that you got pregnant in your new relationship? All you had to work off of before the paternity test were assumptions and theories. And now the update. Update. I got messages asking me to update and I'm now frequently on Reddit, so I thought why not? First things first, I'm getting married. My boyfriend proposed a few weeks ago and will be tying the knot once this whole mess of a year is over. I know a lot of people here said that my ex's family is toxic and I shouldn't keep in touch with them, but I did contact them to tell them about my engagement. Eek. It went well. My ex-Mil cried and told me she was happy for me and apologized for everything. She felt bad about what happened and promises to keep in touch with me. My ex-Sil also apologized for blowing up at me, but she was just very overwhelmed by everything going on in her family's life. I can sympathize and told her that all is forgiven. This family is still super important to me, but this felt more like closure and I'm at peace with my feelings now. It's a chapter in my life that was bittersweet with a lot of great memories but is now closed. I'll always look back fondly, but now it's time for me to move on. The last I've heard, my ex's ex-child is living with her mother and her biological father is now more involved in her life. My ex stopped visiting altogether and doesn't seem to be in great shape, but I haven't inquired because I don't feel like it's my place anymore. I wish him well and hopefully he's able to move on from this. For those who messaged me saying that this is fake, believe what you want to believe. I don't really care anymore that you think this is from a YouTube video. I just hope that those who are reading this know that even though you are struggling, are in tough times, or are just depressed with your life, know that it will get better. It happened to me and it happened to a lot of people. You too are special and you too will achieve happiness. Don't give up on yourself. Do what is right. If you think this is fake, believe it so as long as you get this message loud and clear. Mucho love to those who supported me. Love ya, 2 hearts. A comment from Jeff Song, glad to hear everything worked out. Another one is from Isan624, Good for you. I actually heard this story from one of those YouTubers who distribute Reddit stories but have since only really stuck to this one who posts vids with stories he asks permission to share, so people mentioning YouTube and you knowing nothing about it, some jerk snatched your story to share. Either way, I am happy to hear this story has a happy ending for you. From Demi Blue, I think you were far more gracious and generous towards that family than they deserved after the way they treated you, but I'm glad you found closure. I hope things go well for you, your fiancé, and baby. And lastly is from Sockmaster420, I wonder if he regrets blowing up his beautiful marriage for an affair. I'm sorry you had so much pain, but honestly, the trash took itself out and you now have a beautiful family. And it's all yours. So that's all for today, folks. See you again on our next stories.